10 years ago, Team WRT entered a couple of Audi R8s in the total 24 hours of Spa for the first time. As a sort of birthday present, the team enters several brand new R8 LMS GT3 cars this year. From the outside, there may not be a lot of changes, but all parts of the car were checked and optimized to be able to compete with an ever stronger competition in the world of GT3 racing. The mechanics of the team take care when presenting the 4 cars at scrutineering. This will be an historical edition of the 24-hour race, but on the Tuesday before the race, nobody is aware of that fact. During a whole week, Team WRT will live to the rhythm of the biggest and most difficult GT race in the world. Some 100 people take care of every detail in the preparation of the race, so the 4 cars can be run in optimal conditions to be able to vie for another win in the Belgian Ardennes.
I think the mechanical part is what we can control best. Obviously, you never know, always something can happen, the car can break down and it would be horrible. But we can control it to a large extent, with good preparation, with the best mechanics you can wish for, and a car that has proven to be one of the most reliable in the field with our Audi R8 LMS. So I think from that side, there's not much to be worried about.
I would say WRT for me is still the benchmark team in the whole paddock, not only in the Audi family. What Vincent and Yves created over the years is outstanding, and it's still an honor to drive for that team. I did so 5 years long, and now I'm back for that 24-hour race. That's a big honor, and I'm happy that I can be part of that.
Nico Müller, Robin Freins and René Rast, 3 Audi factory drivers in DTM, will drive the number 1 R8 LMS. Dries Vanthoor, Alex Riberas and Frank Stippler are the drivers of the second Audi works car, the number 2. WRT also enters cars for privateers, such as the number 10 for Weerts, Breukers and Nateau, and the 17 car for McDowell, Petit and Davis. 12 racing drivers and 4 Audi LMS GT3 will take on 72 teams and 10 manufacturers, all aiming to shine in the Belgian Classic. Thursday, first track action. For the factory drivers, these practice sessions are part of their routine. Still, there is a slight tension inside the garages. For all weather specialists agree, it will rain during the race. So every possible wet weather setup has to be imagined, even though the track remains bone dry during all sessions.
So which ABS setting do I use? 2 or 3? What is the setting, same as the test, or?
ABS, you can be on 2. You can be on 2.
Was your car? Balance-wise, really good. They're strong. Brakes, not good. I don't know why. Yeah, but it's not constant. It's unpredictable. Like one time your pedal is really stiff, but actually it works. Next time the pedal goes soft, and then you suddenly lock up the front. And
they know, yeah?
Yeah, they know everything.
Numéro 11 sur la Mercedes numéro 6.
For the non-works drivers, these practice sessions are even more important. All have to get to know each other, some drivers even having their first laps at the wheel of the car, so the interaction with the engineers is intense. When Alex McDowell crashes the car during his qualifying laps, tension rises.
Yeah, sorry guys, I've had to crash, pick off.
The car will not be able to be repaired for the qualifying of the other drivers, so that means that the car will have to start probably from the pit lane or last. And well, it's not the right way to start a 24-hour race.
The car has heavy damage on both steering and suspension. It will not drive again during practice, and for the mechanics the repairs are already underway. It's almost midnight when practice ends. Apart from the crash of the 17 car, Team WRT are pretty happy with the objectives achieved.
The car number 10 did really well. It only missed the Super Bowl by a little margin.
Nice job, Nico. Nice job. Okay, dude, you passed this lap.
The two, say, factory car did extremely well because they are both in the. We have to see the final situation, but I think they are both comfortably into the Super Bowl.
It's all quite matched to each other because of the BOP. I think they did a good one for this event. I think we're all, like you said, 20 cars in 1 second is a lot. So it's all nice to see that we're all close to each other and that we all can race each other that close, and hopefully that's going to make a nice race for all of us. What can you do as a difference? Not a lot. Just try to push as hard as you can and hopefully get a clear lap. That's the main goal here, and I think if you can do that already, then you already have a one step ahead.
On Friday, the life of Team WRT's members is determined by long and intense work on the cars. The machines are fully prepared for the race, everything is checked, the gearboxes are changed, as are all wear elements. Managers and drivers are also working on the strategy of the race, but the most important topic is the rain, which is expected to fall during the majority of the 24-hour race.
rear is a bit more predictable, but in the rear
The conditions might change, especially on this week and lap by lap, corner by corner, and we expect some quickly drying tracks.
It's gonna be tricky. You know, we had all the practice sessions running in the dry, and it's gonna be tricky to do now. Just go in the wet without doing any laps. Let's say dangerous thing that can happen is that heavy rain in the night, so you don't actually see where the rivers are on track. So, and I think that will be the case on Saturday night. So that's going to be tricky. But again, 70 cars on track, so I think it's going to be dangerous for everyone.
First, we know more or less when we have to change from wet to slicks. You know, the target lap time. Where is the right moment to go for slicks. So we know from experience. And then the problem is, there is in the regulation a rule which says that the minimum pit lane time is 115 seconds, which is 1 minute 55 seconds. So that means if you wish to come only to put the wets and a little bit of fuel, you will have to wait in front of your box and exit, you know, just at 1 minute 55 seconds, which makes it very complicated, because if you come in, let's say for a shower, and it's okay for 5 laps, that means you have to do 2 stops. You know, one to come for the wets and one to come back to put the slicks. So, and then it's 2 times 1 minute 55 seconds. So it's really complicated, it's very difficult.
Super Pole is held during the afternoon for the 20 fastest cars of qualifying. Nothing major happens, and Müller and Vantor are the fastest of the Audi drivers, in 7th and 6th respectively. Open your eyes and turn up the volume, for here we go for a full lap of the Spa circuit in company of Dries Vantor.
So this shows that we are ready, because now everybody is in advance on the timing, so we can start spot on time, which is what we aim to.
Saturday morning, 7 hours from the start, Thierry Tassin and Pierre Dieudonné give their briefings to the drivers and engineers. It's almost a solemn moment. On the menu today, the changeable weather conditions, but also a repeat of the essentials that can make a difference during a hectic race like this one.
Weather forecast. And as we said, every time you see potentially an AM car, pay attention, because if you have, a crash with them, you will be responsible, and it will be a drive-through or a stop and go. There will be no discussion. They will just decide that.
One last thing, but important, we don't give up, guys. Huh? René, Nico, we don't give up. If ever you are stopped by an issue on the circuit, make sure or try everything you can to bring the car back to the pits, because then we can repair. Your car will not win the race, but it's important that we finish the race.
Good race.
And on the grid, as predicted, it's a downpour. In these conditions, it's best to start at the front. That's the case for the two factory cars of Rast and Stippler, both fully focused.
No, it seems to be quite wet. The weather forecast was like that for a while already, and yeah, we will see. It's for sure a challenging job to do.
We didn't do any lap in the rain before the race, so it's going to be very exciting. But in general, I like the rain, I like the Audi, I like Spa, so we have a lot of ingredients to make it a good race. But obviously, strategy will be important with tire decisions, strategy decisions. So it's going to be a tricky race.
I confirm safety car in this lap.
After a couple of laps behind the safety car, the lights go green, but it's still very tricky on track. Some parts of the circuit are still very wet. Sometimes the racing line dries for a couple of minutes, but there might be rain in some corners. In short, you need excellent driving skills to master these conditions. During the first couple of laps, the Audi WRT drivers show they have some. Both the 1 and 2 cars are inside the virtual top 5 positions.
Box this lap, driver change. Please confirm.
For 3 of the 4 cars, the first driver change goes without a hitch, all taking advantage of a full course yellow to minimize the time loss.
Still, the gap was not too big to the front. Then I think if I didn't lose the overview, I think we were kind of lucky with the full course yellow, and we were one of the first cars to enter the pit. Would have been a good chance to make up places.
For speeding in the pit lane, Dries Vanthoor will have to serve a penalty a couple of minutes later. He's pretty annoyed when we meet him at the end of his first stint.
Yes, but after the drive-through you did very well, because maybe you gained something like 20 positions.
Yeah, I was pissed off, so I started pushing like hell, and paid off. So I think that's the main goal for us. The rest of the race, just push as hard as we can.
There's 20 hours left to climb back from 20th position. Up until recently, Dries Vanthoor was the youngest driver of Team WRT, but this year there is a new kid on the block. Charles Weerts, Yves' son, participates in his first 24 hours in really difficult conditions. But at the wheel of the number 10 car, the 18-year-old makes a good impression during the opening stages of the race. Yes, for sure. I've brought back the car in one piece, and that was the most important thing to do. The first stint was almost completely full course yellow, so that was a bit annoying. And the second, I had a couple of good scraps, but at the end the tires were gone. So now I understand what Mies told me when he said that doing the Spa 24 hours in an R8 is not always a fun thing to do. With Yves at the helm of the WRT ship and Charles at the wheel of the number 10 car, the 2019 edition of the Spa 24 Hours looks like family business, but above all, it's a passion shared by father and son. The latter got his seat in the team thanks to his talent, and he's ready to prove it. I'm lucky that my dad does not put any pressure on me. On the contrary, he takes pressure away and gives me confidence. I think not many parents are able to do that, especially not in a high-level sporting environment. So that's a good thing. The fact that my dad is one of the owners of the team could add some pressure, but I wanted to prove that I deserve my place in the team. And I think that up until now I did so. 5 hours into the race and Weerts, Nato and Breukers are in 10th position, an exceptional performance. WRT's fourth car, the one that got damaged during qualifying, is also showing a good race pace. It's somewhere around 35th position, fighting for the win in Silver Cup. While the sun sets, weather conditions are still unstable and it promises to be a rainy night. The Audi meteorologists do not get any rest, for their information has to be spot on in order to positively influence the team's strategy.
We are watching the radar information we can cover. We can get all over Belgium with different radar operational sites from the Belgo control, from many radar places. We use this information to get an overall image what's going on with the rain. Is it approaching? Is it decreasing rain? Has it disappeared? Is there a new shower growing within 5 minutes? Sometimes it's pretty suddenly that a shower might occur, and all together we do this.
But WRT has two extra aces up their sleeves, Eric and Olivier. With their bikes they ride through the region, positioning themselves under the cloud's trajectory. In that way they can provide the team with real-time information on possible rainfall. A spotter confirms the weather predictions of the meteorologists. So they send us to a certain spot and we have to confirm through code language the intensity of the rain and the wind and the conditions of the track. This weather info has certainly played a role in the team's unique strategic choices. The 24 hours rulebook included a mandatory 5-minute technical pit stop, during which the brakes are changed. Usually this pit stop is taken halfway through, but for the number 1 car, fighting among the leaders, the strategists decide to call in the car at 11:30 p.m.
I mean, we had a late call about playing that now for the strategy of car 1, which we will see in the long term. I mean, it was one of the options at the beginning of the race, of the pre-planned strategy plan. So yeah, up to that, but it was quite late call, so the mechanics were just on time, and we had to change all the other strategy for all the other car the last minute, so it was a bit tough. Obviously, it was good to make it on time, so it went well, but yeah, it was close.
It's a risk, but one that could pay off at the end of the race. So when night falls over Spa, there is a pretty humid atmosphere, but that does not stop the fans to spend plenty of time at the different parties or attend the numerous festivities along the track. We're nearly at the halfway point and it rains on and off. It increases the stress levels for the drivers and it's clear everybody's on edge. For Team WRT, all goes well. The 17 is in the pack, driving around 35th position. The number 10 car is nearly in the top 15, while the number 1 car is climbing back up the order after its mandatory technical pit stop. The car of Ribera, Stippler and Vantor is the leading WRT car, well inside the top 5. A shocker at around 3 AM. The 2 and the 17 enter the pit lane almost simultaneously to take the mandatory pit stops right at the start of a full course yellow period. A great strategic choice. The rain comes down even harder now, and that is more than just a figure of speech. Driving conditions are horrible, and the drivers start sending worried messages over the radio. Dries Vantor, who had just taken the wheel, is hit by another driver and brings back a car that is severely damaged at the right rear. It's a tough blow and it takes a while before the driver gets out of the R8 to pass the car on to Alex Riberas.
I'm going to just drive, just get off those buttons.
When he is sent out again, the pack is still running on the full course yellow. At 5:42, the race director calls for a red flag and halts the Spa 24 hours.
For all teams, no restart before 7 o'clock. No restart before 7 o'clock.
At that moment, the number 1 WRT Audi is leading with 2 minutes in hand. All cars have to come back to pit lane now and are parked in front of their garages. There's a lot of confusion in the pit boxes. Everybody tries to figure out a new strategy for the restart of the race. It will be a long, very long wait. And the cars only get going at 11 AM, a decision Vincent Vos finds hard to understand.
It's simply bad for the race, bad for the fans. There is safety reason, but there is no reason not to run under a safety car. So I don't really have a real answer to give you. We have to get now prepared to restart the race, and we will focus on the last 5 hours, which will be in hard conditions.
Green flag at 11:30 then. The race is on again, but the weather conditions are still uncertain. The same goes for the outcome of the race, for 5 cars are still fighting for top spot. Among them, the number 1 of France, Müller and Rast. The DTM drivers are the virtual leaders with 2 minutes in hand, thanks to the early mandatory pit stop. René Rast, fully rested by now, is in the middle of the pack, but after plenty of overtaking, he's back in the fight for the lead. He was a bit lucky sometimes, though.
I mean, I knew I had to catch up. I was starting P49 and I had a lot of cars ahead of me, so I knew I had to overtake them, and our car was working pretty well at the beginning, could pass a lot of cars. Then we had one incident where basically I went down to Rouge and there was a car on my left hand side, I was on the right hand side, and the wall was there and he kept turning to the right, and at one point we had contact and I couldn't go anywhere. So I think he didn't see me. Bit of a tricky situation, but yeah, in the end I think we got away with it. Yeah, but still I think pace was there, and yeah, looking forward for the rest of the race.
At the restart, the number 10 car of NATO Breukers and Weerts is in 9th. The 17 of Davis, McDowell and Petit, the car that was damaged during qualifying, is in 35th.
It's quite difficult when you're stopping and starting and getting yourself back psyched up, ready to get back in the car. But that's just the way a 24-hour race is, so it's quite unique, very challenging, and yeah, can't wait to get back out in the car and get some adrenaline going.
The 2 car is just inside the top 30, but the drivers will do their best to help the sister car win the race.
We protect our sister car at the moment, we stay behind them. We don't go and take the risk to overtake.
Now it's time to do a bit of teamwork, and we went out with the slicks to see if it works for us. and then we can give some information to our sister car. So at the end, the victory stays at home. That's our goal right now, and we will fight for that.
Everybody at WRT is ready for the deciding hours of the race, and all are behind the number one car. The strategy of the early technical pit stop on Saturday starts to bear fruit, and the win is certainly on the cards. But the end of the race is extremely tense, and Nico Müller attacks hard, fighting with the Porsche of Kevin Estre. It's a miracle the car is not fully destroyed. Nico is able to get going again, but a bit shaken by the experience and mad at himself.
I hoped for better, to be honest. The team deserved better, Audi deserved better, so not happy with myself and the choices we made. So we have to learn from that, and I said it's still not over, so no giving up.
A podium finish is still possible though, but at 20 minutes before the end, when one of many safety car periods ends, René Rast is pushed off the track. It's all over now.
Yeah, the plan is all.
Complete.
Team WRT finds consolation in the 12th place of Weerts, Nato and Breukers. We realized our first goal, to have a clean race and bring the car to the finish. We were a bit unlucky at the end with the full course yellow and the safety car, and we also had a slight issue during the night, which cost us a bit of time. So we finished in 12th, and I think a top 10 was possible, but we'll be back next year, even stronger. I'm happy with my first Spa 24 hours, but I want it just a bit more. The 17 car did an excellent job by finishing in 34th and 5th in Silver Cup.
We got it home. It's my first 24 hours, so very, very happy for that. That was my main goal, just to finish, but you always want a little bit more. If a few things had have gone our way, you never know, but yeah, proud of our crew, proud of my teammates. Hope to come back again. It was a lot of fun, very amazing experience.
But the team has a hard time hiding their disappointment over what happened to the factory cars. The total 24 hours of Spa is the most difficult and most competitive GT race in the world, and WRT only needed a bit of luck to take a third win. But now, the crew of Vincent Vos is left behind empty-handed, and that is hard to take.
We were there. I think the guys did a great job in terms of strategy. We were there. The drivers, they were pushing like hell till the last moment to try to grab this podium or this potential win. But obviously, Porsche was there to win, and they did a great job. We had a difficult weekend. We have to think and we have to analyze why, and we have to do better next year.
Motor racing can be cruel and is made out of big disappointments and intense joy. Only a couple of weeks after the defeat at the Spa 24 hours, Vantor, Van der Linde and Vervish take the win in the Suzuka 10 hours in Japan. A great way to heal their wounds and come back even stronger in 2020.